So it's time for another gardening week video, and it's Tuesday. On Monday I just got a few seeds sown really. I went out for a long cycle ride and then I just sowed my second batch of peppers, so that's my second quarter. So I've done 50% of my peppers now. Only sweet peppers this time, and I'll put the varieties up down the side here so you can see what I sowed. And what else did I do? I did spinach, so an early batch of spinach which will follow pak choi and tatsoi. And I really like doing spinach nice and early now because I like to do my favourite spring varieties, and that is right now is Red Kitten, and it doesn't overwinter I don't think as well as Giant Winter. So I do Giant Winter over winter, then Red Kitten into spring, and then I do the Asian spinaches late spring and early summer. And then I do New Zealand spinach in midsummer, and then I'm back to true spinach then in the autumn. So what else did I do? I did some turnips and radishes, and I think that's it. And if it's not it, then you'll see oh, beetroot, early beetroot, really mainly to grow in the polytunnel just for baby beets, because they won't really mature I don't think into big beets before I need to empty the polytunnel and get it replanted. But it's nice, you know, just to have baby beets. That's fine, just in case the ones in store are running out or, you know, not quite as good quality as we like. Normally they keep until June, but not always. So Tuesday I am down on the plot. I was out in the morning walking on the beach with my little granddaughter Willow, and then came down here, pruned the pear tree, and I'm pleased to get that done because that's all my trees now are pruned. And I decided to plant my spare overwintered brassicas. So I've got cauliflowers, calabrese and Brussels sprouts for leaves. They're all going to go in a bed that is empty now, and well, would otherwise be empty until the purple sprouting broccoli goes in July. So I think it's kind of perfect timing, although it is brassicas following brassicas. But effectively it just means brassicas growing for a 12-month period, and I'm perfectly happy about that as long as it's not brassicas next year. So yeah, so I put those in, and I think I put 2 cauliflowers in and quite a few calabrese, actually like 5 or 6 calabrese, and the rest are, as I say, Brussels sprouts for leaves. And they're spare plants, so I have less mature plants that I could put in if those fail for whatever reason, and I would probably put the less mature ones in March. But they're kind of cluttering up the polytunnel. There's a risk now, because they're quite big plants, that they might go to seed if they don't get watered carefully enough. And right now I'm not really down in the allotment that often, and so making sure everything's properly watered and warm enough and all that sort of thing is a bit too much. So I'll get them in the ground, just leave them to it. In March I'll just do an assessment and see whether I want to leave those in for an early crop or whether I want to replace them. The adjoining bed, which is currently field beans, that is also going to be early brassicas. So I've got plenty of early brassicas on the go at home, little seedlings, all sorts of different kales and cauliflowers and things like that, and Brussels sprouts for leaves. So I'm not sure, whatever happens, you know, either these will give me an early crop or they won't give me an early crop, and I'll just replace them and I'll just harvest whatever leaves are available. That's the kind of way I like to garden with overwinter brassicas, very flexibly, because you're never quite sure really what the weather is going to do, and you've got the ground, I've got the covers, so I just try it out and see how it works. So while I was out cycling, Debbie was working hard on the front garden, and we had quite a lot of stuff in there, mainly brassicas, and she's cleared all of those out and mulched all the beds, fertilised and mulched all the beds, and redid all the paths with wood chips. The wood chips actually are very kind of coniferous forest floor like, really nice, smell really nice, but probably won't last very long. I really like wood chips to be very woody rather than kind of very leafy, but unfortunately that's all we could get hold of. Wood chips are a bit in short supply right now around here. I tend to find that the golf courses want them all. We've got lots of golf courses, of course, around Lytham St Anne's, and yeah, they're a big sink for all the local arborists' waste wood chips. Anyway, it's all done. It's looking really nice. So yeah, another job ticked off the list. So I thought I'd just show you what I'm doing with the grow light. So this is the top of the wardrobe, and so it's out of the way, and I've got no problems now, I don't think, with fungus gnats, but I've just got these yellow stickies there just in case. So out of the way, not needing grow lights obviously at the moment, just waiting to germinate, are the radishes, turnips and early beetroot, and they will go under the grow lights when these move. So these will go in about a week's time into the polytunnel, and those will go somewhere out of the way there. They're just spare seedlings there just in case I get any failures. And then everything else in here is lettuce or brassica. And so what I'm doing with these, I'm keeping them at about 12 hours because I don't want them to get too much light. So brassicas, obviously, I don't want them to go to seed. So I'm going to keep them at about light levels associated with March at the moment. And they're probably going to get planted out in March. So they're going to experience kind of eternal March. So all the rest of January and all of February is going to feel like March to them. Then they're going to get planted out in March, and it's going to continue to feel like March to them. And so I hope as a result of that, they won't go to seed quite as early as they would if I made them think that it was May or June, and then suddenly they were back to March, and then they think they're in winter, and they get all confused basically about what's going on. So that's what I'm doing here. Now I did have peppers under here, but I want to increase the light levels for the peppers a bit because the peppers don't go to seed, and they're used to higher levels of light. So I've moved those downstairs. So these peppers are now in the conservatory. I've still got a few radish there just to harvest next week and the week after. And I've got some radish up there on that top shelf to harvest the week after that. And so these peppers should stay in here now. I'm not letting them get over wet because again I don't want the fungus gnats to come back. So I'm bottom watering now. They're big enough plants to cope with bottom watering, trying to keep the surface reasonably dry. So I've got all of my chili peppers here, and then my early sweet peppers here, more sweet peppers down here, and I've got a fan here because I want them to start getting some wind on them. When they get a little bit bigger than that, I'll move that fan up there so it's blowing down on them, so they're really getting a bit battered, because I want them to be nice stocky plants. They're nice stocky plants at the moment. I want them to keep strong and small, and so they're getting plenty of natural sunlight here, but there's also a grow light above them there, which is only on when it's not sunny during the day. And since I've got things here now that don't mind plenty of light, I can afford to extend these grow lights so that they come on, say, at 6 o'clock in the morning and maybe go off at maybe 7 o'clock at night or something like that, 8 o'clock at night perhaps, as I say, but don't give them light during the day because they're getting natural sunlight anyway. So that's my theory for the peppers. Keeps the cost down, keeps the peppers happy. Since I've only got a couple of trays really that I'm concerned about, I won't actually heat this conservatory at night. Normally I just keep it above 10 degrees centigrade at night. It costs me about 30 pence. But I'll probably just move those inside the house because that'll only take me like 2 seconds to do just before I close up. Once I get more peppers and everything's covered in peppers around here, and the peppers on the windowsills and everything, then it's too much hassle to move things around. At that point I just start heating. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Bit of a change around. These peas will be going to the allotment next week, ready for planting out, and again that'll give me more space for peppers. So I'll try and keep all of this space for peppers for the next month or so, and then I'll move the peppers up there onto that shelf there. There won't be any radishes there then, there won't be any of these winter squash there then because it'll be too warm for them, but it'll be just perfect for the peppers up there, and have a little fan there keeping them, giving them a bit of breeze to make sure that they develop into nice strong plants. So it's Wednesday, and inspired by Debbie's efforts in the front garden, I've now given the back garden a good tidy up. Might still look a bit scruffy, but mainly the lawn. And I think I've got 9 beds now that will be ready for planting in, March, April and early May, and then I'll just gradually clear more beds as we head into summer. So pretty pleased with that. Everything is spick and span and ready to go. So it's Saturday now, and I'm spending a day at home because I've got tonsillitis. I seem to have just had the most difficult 6 weeks. Cough, cold, sore throat, tonsillitis, like just continuous, with just like short periods, like 3 or 4 days in between when I've been feeling okay. But don't feel too sorry for me because I'm not too bad. I can still get out and about and do things. And I'm feeling fine. So yesterday we did go to the allotment, and my shed door is very old. It's probably, the whole shed is very old, I don't know, like 30 years old or something like that. And I really want it to outlive me on the allotment because I've just grown to really love it as I've kind of maintained it over the last 5 or 6 years, and done running repairs on it every year. But it's pretty solid shed and I really like it, and I don't want to spend a lot of money replacing it. But the door had delaminated, and as a result of that, it had all bent and bowed and all that sort of thing, and it was absolutely hopeless, and I could hardly get it open. And when I got it open, I could hardly get it closed. It was a real pain. So I managed to get a spare door from a friend of ours, and it was completely the wrong size, but we managed to adapt it, and it's all done now, and it's looking great. It needs a touch of paint, but apart from that, really good. So put all the new fittings on this morning, and job done. So what have I done today? Well, really just juggled around all my seedlings again because everything's germinating. So all the stuff that I sowed earlier this week has all germinated now. The spinach is up, the beetroot is up, all of those radishes and turnips are all up, and so I have to move those under the light, which means moving stuff all over. So basically a bit of a juggle around. But it's really nice to see all that progress. And the peas have really thickened up now, and they're basically ready for planting. So I'm going to take those to the polytunnel tomorrow, and I shall leave them for a few days, and then I shall plant them out under a low tunnel. What I've decided to do is I'm going to take the sugar snaps and try and grow those for an early crop in containers in the polytunnel. Now, I've tried that in the past with Mange 2. To be honest, I've not really found much of a benefit with the Mange 2. They do just as well in a low tunnel as they do in the polytunnel. But I've not tried it with sugar snaps, so I thought, well, let's give it a try, might as well, because I've got some spares. And other than that, I think I'm pretty much done. I'm not sowing any more seeds for a few days. So other than that, let's just take a quick look at the harvest. So here's the harvest table. Right now we're harvesting about twice as much as we did last year, which I'm pretty pleased about because we're growing off the same amount of land. And it's just new growing techniques basically, high intensity growing, just being a bit more conscious in summer of making sure we've got enough plants for winter without going short in summer. So I'll quickly step you through. So we'll start at this end. So these are the salad bases. And then we've got salad ingredients. We've got lamb's lettuce there, radishes there, salad onions, lots of those. Winter miner's lettuce or Claytonia there. So those are the salad ingredients. And then we've got spinach at the back there. More spinach there. and tatsoi and pak choi leaves, and we've got one more harvest of those next week, and then that bed will be replanted to spinach for spring. And we've got mixed brassica leaves and all these beautiful little sprout tops. I've got a lot of sprouts in the ground that are small plants, and so they're just yielding these gorgeous little tops, really nice. And then we've got actual Brussels sprouts and these gorgeous little red ones. These are red ball. They're a lot smaller than the green ones, but they're just super sweet and lovely. Carrots and one random yellow carrot. Field bean tops, purple sprouting broccoli, some more purple sprouting broccoli down there. Colettes, looking lovely. Baby leeks. Turnips, one more harvest of turnips, but new turnips going in the ground next week. And then we've got onions just starting to root again. It's been just that sort of temperature, so we're trying to use these as quickly as we can. The red onions are still fine. And then we've got artichokes, baby beets, big beets, more big beets, parsley and some other herbs down there, and just a standard batch of potatoes. And at the end of the week, while I'm doing this harvesting, Debbie goes through the fridge and she gets everything that's left over from the week that we haven't eaten, and she just makes it up into food for the kids to go along with the fresh food for the kids. So these are soups, lovely thick vegetable soup, a blended vegetable soup and falafel. So that's basically just clears the fridge and makes sure we've got enough space for the fresh harvest. Oh, and I forgot, we've got some yacon in here as well. So pretty good, quite pleased. As I say, it's about twice what we harvested last year, and it looks like we're going to continue at that kind of double harvest rate up until at least the middle of February, and then it might be more equivalent to last year. I'm not exactly sure yet, we'll just have to see. So hope you liked this quick video. My name's Steve, this is the Seaside Kitchen Garden and Allotment channel, and I'll see you soon.